Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Builder Show, the show where we build builders. As always, I'm with my co-host Will. My name is Cameron. Will, how are we doing this morning?
It's going good, bro. It's going good. I'm super excited to start this week off. I just can't wait. We're already in March. If you think about it, the first 2 months already flew by.
I know we're already almost through Q1. That's
One
how
more month.
I think it. That's how I think through time now is by Q1, Q2, 3, and 4. I used to think
Yeah,
differently, but yeah, that's how I'm thinking now. Making sure I
it is.
meet Q1 goals and such.
It is ripping right now, and I'm super excited for it because this is going to be a busy month for us as a whole. And I know some more content is going to be coming out lately, especially in the month of March. We're probably doing 5, 6 different types of events, meet and greets, courses, trainings, and all in all of this is possible because of what the trades have to offer. And if you guys are coming into the trades, if you guys are an electrician, if you guys are waking up this morning headed into work, you have to recognize that you guys can change your life completely by coming into the trades and sticking with the trades. Remember, we talked about don't just show up to go to work, don't just show up to get a paycheck, but you guys genuinely have so much to gain if you stick through the apprenticeship. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about today, right, Cameron?
Yeah, so let's jump right into this. Something that we've been thinking about a lot lately, and we've talked about in the past on previous episodes, is the topic of retention or labor shortages within the skilled trades. And so, what I want to pose today, a question I want to pose to you guys, is why are so many apprentices leaving the trades?
Mm,
Why are so many apprentices leaving the trades? And I think there are several different reasons why apprentices are leaving. And Will, what we've said a lot in the past is lack of leadership, lack of
mm,
mentorship. We don't have people who are actual leaders that are in leadership positions. We have a lot of journeymen and foremen who got their positions because they are very skilled laborers. They're good at what they do as far as the technical and field skills, but they lack the leadership qualities. Why? Number one, because they don't have no character. Number two, it's just no one's really taught them how to be a good leader. So, oh, you were about to say something, Will?
I think you just hit it on the head. Once again, we keep talking about coming into the trades because it could give you a life that you never knew was possible. You and I are very passionate about getting people into the skilled trades because we both are experiencing what the trades have to offer. And I think this is really important to discuss. I think this is a very important topic because we keep telling people to come in, but we're neglecting or we're doing a disservice if we're not helping people to stay in the trades. And what you just said was very important, the leadership aspect. I personally, with my experiences, can speak strongly on that because I just don't like the culture. I just don't like the way I was taught. So when it comes to leadership, when it comes to mentorship, we need these key people so much in the trades because they give an expectation versus a reality check of what's actually going on in the industry. And I think the hardest lesson a lot of people can learn is life very how do I say it? A lot of us want the opportunity to do something. A lot of us look forward to getting that moment to shine, right? Think about every superhero movie. Think about every success story. Everybody wants to get in the ring. Everybody wants to be Rocky fighting with Apollo, right? Everybody wants that shot. But the scariest part of jumping into something is the unknown. That's why it's so important to go through a registered apprenticeship. That's why it's so important to just be and have a mentor, a coach, somebody in life who's already done what you want to do because they get to show you the steps that you need to take based off of their experience, or you get to learn if you get in a bind, if you get snagged, if you get in a tough situation on how to survive through a certain situation. So I think this is a conversation that's needed, because we're done with telling people come into the trade, you're going to have a good paycheck. Come into the trade, life's going to be amazing. No, we're at the point now where we're going to hold the conversations on retention. We're going to hold the conversations on what you and I are going to do to make sure if you come in that you're going to stay and want to stay and you're going to grow within the trades, because we don't have enough of that already within the industry. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I do want to throw in some other reasons that we have gathered from our followers, our audiences, on why apprentices leave the trades. And so, one is what we just mentioned, lack of leadership and mentorship. I think something else that we haven't talked about a whole lot is pay. So, a lot of people, I wouldn't say as much as the first reason, but a lot of people have said that the pay is horrible getting into the trades. And it's really hard to speak on that black and white because I'm sure you got to look at every single situation. What kind of shop are you working at? What kind of experience do you have? I'm not saying that there's bad places to work. There's definitely places that you shouldn't work there if they're going to pay you that. But I think that's a reason, or oh yeah, a reason why people are saying that it's hard to hold on to people is because of pay. And I think I disagree with that. I think that most of the time, again, this isn't all across the board, but I think most of the times they are getting taken care of. It's just not what they expect. So I think that shifts the conversation into expectations, not whether you're getting paid enough or not, because that's kind of subjective, whether someone's getting paid enough, but it's failed expectations. And I personally can relate to that because when I got into the trades, I left my previous job, moved back to Tennessee, and got into the electrical field with no experience or knowledge whatsoever, and started at a little mom and pop shop as a helper. I needed something just to get me by, and I started on a Thursday, and we didn't talk about pay or anything. That's kind of how informal this stuff is. I just showed up and just started working, and I didn't know what was going on. We had a 1-year old. We're living with my in-laws, and I get my check on Friday after work. So I work 2 days, right? And we didn't do deposits back then. So we just get a paper check, and I open up my check, and my check was $160 for 2 days worth of work for 16 hours. So how much is that an hour? That
10
is
bucks.
$10 an hour. I got that check, and it's way, way, way less than what I made at my previous job, previous field. And I remember going to that weekend. I was like, I can't do this financially. This is freaking poverty, right? And some may say you should have just left and went somewhere else. It didn't have to be that way. And there's probably some truth to that. But the way I looked at it after much deliberation was I'm probably going to make similar pay somewhere else doing something different. I'm going to be at the bottom of the totem pole no matter what I do. So I stuck with it. And I think it was like a week later. So like a week after I started, we found out that we were having number two baby. So I'm like, good grief. I'm making $10 an hour. We're having our second baby that's on the way. I have a 1-year old living with my in-laws. I know there's worse situations out there. There's worse things, but I felt all kinds of pressure, right? I felt like I wasn't living up as a good husband. I wasn't providing enough. I did something wrong. And that was a really tough time in the very beginning. So I'm not saying that everything should be just all hunky dory for someone coming into the trades, but apprentices, anyone coming into the trades, no matter how old you are, if you're 18 or if you're like some of these guys I talk to who are in their 30s, leaving their school teacher job or whatever job to join the skilled trades, you do have to recognize that it may be a step down in the beginning. But at the same time, I think that what the trades have to offer is far greater than most career choices out there. So what do you think about all that, Will? Do you think pay is a valid reason why apprentices are not sticking around?
Now, that story was real, bro. That was real. And I think a lot of people are going to resonate because I get constantly asked, is it too late to switch careers? Is it too late to jump into the skill trades? I get DMs all the time with people asking me, is it too late to join electrical? I'm 35 years old and I have a family. And your experience, what you just said, is the typical experience, what the average man or woman is going to experience. What you just mentioned was, hey, you may take a pay cut, but I don't want to view it as a vertical or a horizontal. I'm so sorry. If someone is making top money as a computer designer, as McDonald's worker in a warehouse somewhere, and you're thinking it's going to be a horizontal move, you're actually setting yourself up for failure. If you're coming to the skilled trades and then you're starting from the ground up, guess what? If you're not in a union, if you're not in a registered training program with a company that's well established, more likely than not, you're going to get hired on as a helper, as a parts guy, as just general labor. And then you're going to go get your hours the old traditional knuckle buster way, I feel like. Now, is that wrong? Can someone say, hey, if you joined XYZ organization, you can make 30 an hour as an apprentice? Yes, absolutely true. Is there an organization like that around you? Are they hiring now? Right? These are all questions that you have to ask yourself. So, for you, in your example, in your situation, in your experience, nobody can take that away from you. And guess what? The average American is doing the same thing. The average American is asking themselves right now, is it too late to join the skilled trades? And guess what? They're in their 30s, they're in their 35s, they're in their 40 years old because they see the potential of what electrical can do for you. So they want to jump in, but that fear of, I got a kid, I got a baby on the way, I got my mortgage to pay for. I can't take that hit right now and get 14, 15, 16 an hour. And I can't wait 6 months, 12 months, 18 months to join some type of organization out there that's going to pay me 30. It's almost a catch 22. You're in this bind. So, what you went through is what the typical American is going to ask about joining the skilled trades. Now, is it wrong? We found out everyone has a different example, everyone has a different experience, everyone has a different situation that they have to make the decision their own. What we do know, though, in 3, 4, 5 years, money is no longer going to be an issue for you. I genuinely believe if you can get over that 2, 3, 4 year mark, you're going to make double of what you were making before joining the skill trades. That money is going to compound. That investment, that training, that experience that you're going to give and gain and put into your life, you're never going to lose sight of that. You're learning a tangible skill that nobody can take away. Someone can change your pay, someone can take away your car, someone can take away things. You can't take away that experience that you gain. And I'm pretty sure with your experience, you're going to speak on that. You're going to say how much more you gained through those hard times. Now, is it wrong? Is it right? There's no one to judge that but yourself. But I also know that those times created the person that you are today and that you can speak on it right now. Nobody else can take that away from you. Now, is it nicer if someone had a sugar coated life, with a silver spoon in their mouth, who knew the right guy to get them into any type of organization, who gave them the best jobs, who didn't have to get their hands so dirty? You understand? Yeah, that's just life, though. What I love about this topic, what I love about what the trades have to offer is you can change everything if you stick through it. And at the end of the day, you have to decide if you're going to make that risk, if you're going to make that investment, if you're going to take the chance on yourself. And what we see today is too many people are not willing to do that. They're just going to stay complacent. They're just going to stay in their job because they're already making the best type of money. Even though they want to switch over, the burdens of day to day are not going to allow them. And guess what? If that's for you and your family and you can't risk it, more power to you. We need more responsible family members and more responsible families as a whole. And that's just not in the cards for you. But at the end of the day, you can't knock someone for risking, for taking a chance, for going all on red. And if they hit it, you can't complain that they hit it. You understand? Because they were the one who put up the risk. What do you think?
Yeah. So I agree that if you can get past that time frame, then it's all going to pay for itself, especially becoming a contractor. Oh, hold on a second. My screen froze because someone didn't like what I said somehow. um, so that money is gonna come back to you multiple times over the longer you stay in the trades, no matter which route you take. If you become a journeyman or a foreman in a company, or if you go the contracting route, especially, you are gonna make some money like you've never seen before. I guarantee you that. And that's the route I took after a few years in the trades of just getting my hourly rate up. I figured out that I knew how to do most things in residential, and I was like, hey, like I'm getting some side work and it's time to get my license. And that's what I did. And then it's funny because whenever I got my license, I put out a Facebook post, and that became kind of a problem at work. And I was given an ultimatum: no advertising, or no advertising if you want to work here, or you can just leave. And so I just gave him my notice. It's like, well, I got my license for a reason, and that's kind of how we got to where I am now. And I'm sure it was similar for you too, why you got your license. So pay is not the same type of reason, I think, as lack of mentorship or lack of leadership. Um, Only you can decide if the pay's not what you expect or not what you need. But that's just something that I see in the comments a lot, is how wherever the said person was, is they didn't get paid good enough or something, didn't get paid good benefits. So that's reason number two. So the other couple of reasons I have here, Will, is I think this is kind of in tandem with lack of leadership, is culture shock in the construction industry, in the skill trades. And what do we mean by that? Well, again, it's the knuckle buster attitude. It's a lot of the toxicity that is there in the workplace because it's this grit and grind attitude. It's very aggressive behavior. Uh, so a lot of times rude tone, and that's just a turnoff for a lot of people. And people will say that, kind of like what our previous episode was about, is do apprentices entering the trades need thick skin? Well, a lot of people think that that's an automatic disqualifier if you can't handle getting yelled at. Literally getting yelled at like you're an idiot. I've seen it before, and it bothers me. But that's kind of the status quo in our industry, whether it's right or wrong. That's the culture shock that apprentices deal with. And so, what do you think about that? The culture shock part?
I think that's a big part of it because, once again, when it ties into mentorship, when it ties into pay, culture shock affects so many people in the sense of why don't they want to stay? Maybe someone's like, okay, I'll take minimum wage. I'll start because I want to make the big bucks. I want to make 40, 50, 60 an hour. I want to have my own electrical contracting business. So I'm willing to take the low pay. But then you take the low pay with a dick of a foreman. You know what I mean? Or this journeyman that you're assigned with is just, bro, his disses are corny. He's always trying to belittle you, just trying to make you and strong arm him because that's the way he was taught. He's over here just dirty. He's just over here talking however he wants to talk. And maybe that type of environment is just something that you don't want to put up with. Remember, we have individuals asking us 30, 32, 35 years old coming into the trades saying, hey, is it worth it? Oh, yeah, I'm going to get a little pay. But guess what? I'm willing to put up 3, 4, 5 years to make the big bucks. So you're this mid 30-year-old, our age, 35 years old, coming into electrical. And then you hear guys talking that trash in the car, in the van. Listen, we understand there's talking shop. We understand that. But I also understand the majority of America don't want to talk shop like that. If you got a wife, if you got kids at home, you ain't trying to act stupid at work. You're trying to get the job done. You're trying to get your hours. You're trying to make that money. You're trying to make and get that license. That's the ultimate goal. That's why you switched over. So now maybe if you're an 18, 19-year-old kid, you just don't care. That's life. You know what I mean? You're skipping college to go work. Guess what? You're going to have some crazy dudes on the job site. But for the most part, if you have somebody who's coming in already getting low pay, they're not trying to funk up their life any other type of way. You understand? They're coming in here to do their work. So now you mix low pay with that type of culture shock. Now it's a combination of, why am I here? You understand? Maybe that culture shock with 40, 30, high $20 an hour as an apprentice in some organization, maybe it's worth it then. You just put up with it. You understand? So I think it's definitely a combination of the things. And that's something, once again, it goes right back to you have to make that decision your own if this is going to work for you. But I actually have some statistics here for you if you want to. And I'll put the link down below. So each one of you guys who are going to try to fact check me in the next 10 minutes, you guys can have the link to go talk to about this. But we keep talking about, oh my God, there's a worker shortage. There's a worker shortage. I can't stand when I go online and I hear people saying there's a worker shortage when these numbers are screaming at us. Do you know how many people every year on average graduates from an approved apprenticeship program, Cameron?
I do not know.
Roughly 110,000 apprentices complete a program. Do you know how many leave the program?
Tell us.
On average, 165,000 do not complete the apprentice program. We have more people leaving the apprentice program than completing the apprentice program. That directly tells you that there is a retention issue, has nothing to do with the shortage. We have people leaving faster than we can fill in or complete an apprentice program. And remember, we're talking about this is people during the apprenticeship. This isn't talking about the boomers who are already retiring from the industry. This is solely speaking on the registered apprentice program. We have roughly 165,000 apprentices who do not complete the apprentice program. And we only have 110,000 completing it. We have more people leaving and saying, screw this. I don't want to put up with it. And guess what? If you guys want to look this up, go to the U.S. Department of Labor Rapids data, and you're going to see the U.S. Government Accountability Office. And you guys are going to be shocked by these numbers. So when it comes to asking somebody, come into the trades, if you don't mentor them, if you don't give them the training that they need, if you don't give them the expectations versus the realities, if you don't give them a culture, if you don't give them an environment that they want to stay, you're losing 50 to 60% out the door. Even before they finish it, they're not going to stick with it because they're now learning that it's not worth it. That's something to really take into consideration. Those are real numbers, and this is based off of the 2024 year. They're still getting all the data for the 2025 release. We just started 2026. So in 2024, 50 to 60% of the people aren't finishing it, and that is already documented. So what do you have to say about that, Cameron?
That just proves everything that we have been talking about based on the responses we've been getting from our audiences, our followers, and it aligns. And people think this is make believe stuff, or it's oh yeah, they thick skin, dude. You're ruining the trades. If you want to keep treating people like that, if you think, oh, it's just the way it is, if that's the way it's always been, and they need to grow up, they need to get thick skin, dude, you are wrecking the industry, and it's going to be your fault for why we do have a shortage. It's going to be your fault why people are leaving like crazy right now. More than 50%, 60% of people are not finishing because you are immature and dumb, because you want to make dumb jokes and belittle people. Just think about that for a second. And guess what? Well, these are the same people who say they are advocates for the skilled trades, yet they are the reason for people leaving. You see the irony in that? That is wild.
I believe it. And guess what? This is just like you mentioned, everybody's responsibility. It's not just come in, work, get a paycheck, go home. No, we're coming to a world, or we're in a world now where so many people have so much information. There's so many other ways to make money. There's so many quicker ways to make money. So we understand the value of blue collar. We understand that how AI, the advancement of data centers, smart home integrate, all of these advancements in technology are only helping us as tradesmen. You understand? We're always going to have a job. But there's so many individuals who are coming in and saying it's not worth it because of the culture, because of the Wild West. Why do we still have companies saying, hey guys, you need a CRM? You guys, because they know contractors are still using paper and pencil. Like, do you understand how far behind the eight ball we are as an industry? And now we're in 2026 telling people to come in, and then we're losing 60% of them. That's not helping anybody. Like, we genuinely have to ask these questions on what we're going to do when it comes to the retention. And I have been noticing the language has been shifting. More people are now talking about retention. Everyone's talking about retention now. Why is that a conversation starter? I thought everyone was still saying it's really cool to be an electrician. The numbers are saying it ain't that cool if 60% are leaving. True or not? If you are at a movie and you're like, this is a great movie, guys, and half the theater stands up and leaves, that's not a cool movie. I'm sorry to tell you. You understand? There's indicators where it's cool, but a year ago, everyone's like, oh, the skilled trades is cool. Come on in. It's a cool job, guys. Oh, man, that's what the kids want to hear. It's cool. No, they don't. They want to know what's going on with the industry. The trades are not cool, but can they be cool? Yes. The trades are not glamorous. It's not glamorous in an attic at 90 degrees. You understand? When you're crawling around the insulation, that's not fun. All right. It's not cool. It's not fun to get hazed. It's not cool to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, to leave at 5 o'clock, to scarf down two monsters on the way to work just to be able to function and drive a van. That's not fun. But the experiences, but the skills, but everything that you do in the trade will be worth it. And I think that's what apprentices need to understand. If you're coming into the skill trades, if you're coming into electrical, if you're coming into plumbing, if you're coming into HVAC, I don't want you to think that your job's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be cool, but it's supposed to be worth it. It's going to be worth it because you're going to be able to take care of yourself. You're going to be able to take care of the people that you love, your family, your kids. You're going to be able to create a life that you never knew was possible. So if you're going to come in, and if you want to stay in the trades, and if you want to make something of the trades, you have to understand the expectations versus the realities. It's not fun in an attic mid-July. It's not fun being outside in a blizzard. But the simple fact that you learn a craft, you're proficient in that craft, you mastered that craft, you have a license in your hand, and now you can take care of the people that you want. You can open up your own business if you want. You can now train somebody if you want. That outweighs the cons. For that, I'll put up with low pay in the beginning. For that, I'll put up with the culture. With that, I'll put up with a stupid journeyman that I'm stuck with for the next 2 years just to learn the ropes. But you're only going to see those results if you stick through. And right now, if we're losing 50 to 60% of our apprentices coming in, guess what? Not a lot of people are going to see that blessing. Not a lot of people are going to see what's worth it. And that's what I'm truly afraid of, because you and I are prime examples of, with a little bit of effort, how far we can go. And there's guys smarter than us. There's guys that who work harder than us. Sure enough, we say that all the time. We're not even trying to brag that we're the best. And look at where we've gotten. If you put in a little bit of effort, if you show character, if you show trust, if you show your work ethic, if you show vision in every freaking thing you do today, oh, bro, you're going to freaking eat it. You're going to eat it. You're going to have your cake. You're going to share your cake. You're going to have some in the fridge. You're going to have leftovers to give away. There is nothing that you won't be able to do if you stick through these 4 years and look towards what the trade truly has to offer.
Yes, sir. Well, we're out of time, but hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you're an apprentice, stick around. Stick around if you're in it for the right reasons. Just you got to think future, okay? And hey, maybe you're an apprentice and you love the workplace. I hope that's the case. I hope you have a great journeyman, a great boss, a great environment to work in. And if you're the journeyman, if you're the foreman, if you're the boss, take care of your apprentices. Well, take care of all your guys, but take an apprentice under your wing and buy him some donuts or something and tell him he's doing a good job. I don't know.
That Friday pizza party.
Yeah, and pizza parties. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Well, it was a good morning. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Will, you can close us out if you have anything else.
Everybody, be safe.